إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره نعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما أما بعد فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها فإن كل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار وإنما توعدون لآت وما أنتم بمعجزين. I greet you all with the greeting of Islam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May the peace and the blessing of Almighty Allah be with you all. I'd like to welcome you all for continuation of our seerah, our series concerning Tarbiyah, nourishment. And this constitutes class number 26 in the Tarbiyah, the upbringing. Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And we start last week with the Tarbiyah al-Imaniyah. The Tarbiyah al-Imaniyah is how to nourish our soul and how to purify our heart, how to strengthen our Iman, how to be a better believer and a stronger believer. And we talk about in the reality of Iman and the definition of faith, and how that is Iman is something that you utter with your tongue, that you believe it in your heart, and that you practice it in your daily life, and that this Iman, this faith increase as a result of the obedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and decreases as a result of disobedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So for those who concerned about the nourishment of Iman, they have to be concerned about every thing, doesn't matter if it's small or big, anything which is pleasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and to try to do it. Because the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam had told us that Iman is bid'un wa sab'una shu'bah. Iman, faith, is 70 some branches. The highest of it is the uttering of La ilaha illallah, and the lowest of it is to remove the harmful things out of the way of the people. And to be bashful and shy is a part of faith. So a Muslim have to live his life or her life like almost a student. This is the best example I can give. Nowadays we know what is a students and what a pupils is, and how they graduate from a school or from a level to level and from a class to class, and they try to achieve to get their bachelor degree, or after this they be looking for master degree, after this they try to get a PhD degree, and keep going for more degrees until they feel that they are satisfied to get the proper recognition in the society, among the people, the right job, the right salary, all these things. So a true Muslim and sincere, serious Muslim lives in this life almost like a pupil or a student living today, that he's concerned about how I can get to the next level, how I can be promoted to the next class, how I can pass this exam, and how I can this and this and this, until a person get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And in this state of Iman, a person will be in a state of peace between him and Allah, peace between him and himself, peace between him and the society, peace between him and his family. That means he will come to the state of call tuma'nina. Okay, that means he will reach to satisfaction and contentment. He will be content with whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives him or her. Doesn't matter if it's small or big, doesn't matter if it's little or a lot. And even the small and the little will be in his eyes or her eyes is a lot. They content. Like you say, raditu billahi rabba. Okay, that you will be saying, I am pleased with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as a Lord. I'm pleased with Islam as a way of life. So a person who is pleased with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as his Lord, he's not going to try to worship any other God or try to work harder to please any other person more than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. His priority or her priority will be Allah. The person who will come to this state of itmi'nan and to be content, he will be pleased with Islam. That means whatever Islam legislate, from halal or haram, in dress code, in food, in marriage relation, or whatever it is, they will have a full contentment with it, that they don't want to look for something outside of al-Islamic law. Why? Because they know that this is from Allah. They are content. They are in peace with it. They are not looking for anything else in a different names, if it's democracy or if it's communism or Arabism or blackism or whatever it is. Why? Because they see satisfaction, a full satisfaction in Islam. A person is not going to get to this result until they nourish this iman. And same way like we try to develop our strength, our muscles, we go to different exercise class, we go to gym, we eat certain foods, okay? So the same thing, the iman and the faith is need also this attention from us, okay? And in actuality, when a person exercising his muscles, okay, he's not exercising his mind. He exercising the physical being of him. But when the person tries to exercise and build his iman, this will take over the mind, the heart, the soul, the body. Why? Because this will be a person sees there is nothing greater than Allah. There is nothing bigger than Allah. There is no one that you try to really please more than Allah. So Allah will be your main concern in everything that you do and everything that He's seeking. And this tarbiyah of iman, it comes through different things, and one of them is the obedience of Allah, and also to stay away from the disobedience of Allah. يزيد بالطاعة وينقص بالمعصية. That iman and faith grows and develop and strengthen as a result of obedience of Allah. So if, as example, Allah talks about salah, so you'll be concerned about the 5-time prayers, you're going to be concerned about the jama'ah, you're going to be concerned about the Jum'ah, and also you're going to be concerned about the optional prayer. You're going to be concerned about the optional prayer. If it comes about the fasting, okay, will be Ramadan, it will be Monday, and it's not only Monday, will be after this, after Ramadan, seeking volunteer fasting from Monday and Thursday, the 13th, 14th, 15th of every Islamic calendar month, and will be concerned about fasting 6 days after Ramadan in Shawwal. So he's not going to limit himself to only obligation. He was going to seek the voluntarily fasting, and also after giving the zakat, he'll be looking forward to give a voluntary charity. Why? Because they know that Iman can grow stronger and stronger and stronger, and this by doing anything pleasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Also the development of Iman and the nourishment, fostering the Iman, it comes as a result of staying away from what is haram, what is forbidden. And we have things that are doubtful or things that is disliked, okay? But a person who concerned about develop his or her iman, they want to develop. Even sometimes they find people moving their fingers, exercising their fingers, okay? So it's not only the muscles of the arm or the legs or the hip or whatever, they doing their fingers, okay? Why? Because certain exercise for certain things. So when we talk about Iman, we are not concerned about only the obligation or staying away from the major things. We have something in Islam called major sins and we have minor sins, okay? Say, oh brother, this is not a big deal, but I know, yeah, I know. It's makruh, it's dislike, okay? They call it this is haram or they call it dislike. As example, it's haram to eat pork, to eat khinzir, okay, pig, all right? But it's not haram to eat garlic, okay, raw garlic and onions, but is dislike, you understand, to eat it and come to the mosque. So a person is not going only to hunt or fishing what is the major haram and stay away from it. They're going to try to stay away from anything disliked by Islam. Why? Because they know that these things is going to have some kind of impact on your faith. Therefore, they stay away. Even some people tell them that smoking cigarette haram. Say, no, brother, it's not haram, it's makruh. Let's even agree with them that it's makruh, dislike. But it's not dislike, it is haram, it's forbidden. Because you waste your money, you destroy your health, okay? You corrupting the environment. So all these things, to understand, it has impact in your reality as a believers, and wasting the money itself is forbidden in Islam. Wasting the time. Wasting time is forbidden, is not acceptable in Islam. Okay? So the time and the money is something that Allah bless you with it. Okay? Therefore, you have to use it to the best of your ability. Otherwise, if you are wasting it, you are, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying, إِنَّ الْمُبَذِّرِينَ كَانُوا إِخْوَانَ الشَّيَاطِينَ. Indeed, those, the spendthrifts, the people who waste, the wasteful people are the brethren of the shaitan. وَكَانَ الشَّيْطَانُ لِرَبِّهِ كَفُورًا. With all these things, wasting the money, wasting the time, wasting the energy, destroying your health and say, brother, is not haram, is makruh. That means it's a lesser degree than haram. Let's assume it is not haram but is makruh. But if you want to develop your iman and you want to strengthen your faith, you're going to try to think about staying away even from things which is disliked by Allah or His Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We spoke last week about the impact of believing in the day of judgment and how the Quran have a different approach about believing in the day of judgment, and how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sometimes tell us about Jannah, sometimes Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tell us about hellfire, because medicine and cure is different. Some people, you understand, something encouragement helps them, and some people warning, it will help them. Okay? So the people have different tastes and different ways for development. So from the Quran sometimes talks about Jannah and sometimes talks about hellfire. You find the Quran sometimes tells us in details about the punishment, and sometimes it gives us the description of hellfire. Sometimes it tells us about the promise of Allah about the day of judgment and the signs of the day of judgment. And the signs of the day of judgment. So you found the Quran does not have only one approach talking about the day of judgment, different approach. So like you're getting it from everywhere. Like somebody punching you, and after this punch you in the other side, and punch you in your stomach. So he keep doing this until, but all this impact in you that you could not move anymore. You may punch a person on one side, okay, he will get hurt, but when you punch him from different places, now you make him disabled. So the Quran comes with the day of judgment as a main impact on the Muslims to develop their iman, but it comes in a different form, different ways. Oh Muhammad, tells them about the day of judgment. Oh Muhammad, inform them about the hour. Oh, you believe, save yourself and your family from hellfire. It comes with a different approach to make the thoughts of the day of judgment very deep in our hearts, in ourself, by different approach and different words and different verses, so it can be has more impact on us in our daily life. The Quran used the Qiyam al-Layl, the night prayer, as a means of develop our iman, to develop our iman. And the amazing thing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made Qiyam al-Layl to be obligatory in the Muslims, the early stages, okay? Before the 5-time prayers became obligatory, Allah made Qiyam al-Layl and said, Ya ayyuhal muzammil qum al-layla illa qalila. Okay? Oh, you is the one who wrapped up. Okay? Stand up in the night for prayer. Okay? During the night. Okay? Half of it, or less than a half. And Allah said, إن الله يعلم أنك تقوم أدنى من ثلثي الليل ونصفه وثلثه وطائفة من الذين آمنوا معه. So indeed Allah knows that you, Muhammad, stand up during the night prayer and part of those believers with you. So became the Prophet himself as well as the believers making Qiyam al-Layl. Why? Because Qiyam al-Layl has a different effect and a different impact on our hearts. Because you doing it when you giving sadaqah, when everybody giving sadaqah, is easier. When you praying while everybody praying is easier. But when you're the only one praying, it's difficult. When all the traffic go in one direction and you driving in the same direction, it's easy. But when you try to go against the traffic, it's not easy. Okay? So what I mean by this, during the night, this is the time when people go to rest. This is the time that people really want, and you can even offer them food, cake, chunky monkey ice cream, any kind of ice cream, the best cake, whatever. I say, please, no. I want to sleep. Why? Because they're tired and the sleep became more dearer to them than even food. Before they were talking about, I'm hungry. Okay, the food is ready. They don't want to get up. You see? Why? Because the sleep has a sultan, have authority, have a demand in you. You try to push it back, okay, by all means, and you try to sacrifice good things for the sake of the sleep. For you to get up and deprive yourself from sleep, and everybody sleeping, and you're going to be the only one in the family, or the only one in the community, okay? You can be the only one in the family, or the only one in the community, or the only one in town, Allah knows best, or the only one in the whole mosque. That everybody's sleeping, or you have any camp. You go for camping, and hunting or fishing, and after this everybody tired. And you come to be the only one got up after this fishing trip, and now you're getting up to make tahajjud. Everybody's tired. So now you're driving against the traffic. The traffic is what? Sleep and rest. You're going to come and try to fight your soul. You fight yourself, try to deprive yourself what your soul, what yourself likes, and try to do something totally different. But you're doing it not because money, not because of fame, not for a rank, not is more salary, more money, nothing, but what? You try to please Allah. Okay? So this will have a special, okay? A special, like I say, you want to make money, you have to spend money. Okay? You have to make some sacrifice to get what you want. So now if you want the Iman, and the Iman have a higher level than Islam, because you have Islam, you have Iman, you have Ihsan. Okay? So now you want to get a higher degree, so now you have to sacrifice something more dearer to you. And this will be what? Will be the sleep. Okay? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had trained and fostering the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam as well as the Sahaba through Qiyam al-Layl and the night prayer. You can make optional prayer during the day, but it's much easier than to try to get up at 3 o'clock. You don't have a flight, you don't have a working second shift, nothing. And if you want to sleep the whole night, nobody going to give you a ticket. But you're going to impose it in yourself that you're going to get up and you're going to make Qiyam al-Layl. And in that time, a special touch. Because here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala Almighty descend to the lowest heaven. And He calling on His slaves. Is anyone seeking forgiveness? I forgive him. If anyone have any needs, special needs, I will give it to him. And Allah keep calling like this until Fajr comes out. Now in the time everything is quiet. Okay? Mostly TV is been turned off already. Okay? No playing games, no anything. Everybody quiet. And this itself it gives a special taste to feel the Quran or to understand the Quran. Okay? Therefore, it need a struggle. You're going to be driving against the traffic. But you're going to be getting something special. Okay? Which is that you're going to be a higher level in Iman. It said it is so amazing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made obligatory the night prayer before He made the 5-time prayers. Okay? And also before Allah decree the capital punishment. As Aisha had told us, and we mentioned this last week, that فرض الله تبارك وتعالى على النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قيام الليل فقام النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وقام الصحابة معه حولا كاملا واحتجز الله عز وجل خاتمة السورة 12 شهرا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commands the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم to stand up in the night prayer. So the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم stood up during the night prayer as well as the companions, and Allah kept the later verses of the surah for a whole year. The last part of the surah that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had decreased, okay, decreased the amount of qiyam al-layl. First Allah told him قم الليل إلا قليلا نصفه أو انقص منه قليلا أو زد عليه ورتل القرآن ترتيلا. So Allah said, stand up in the night prayer with not the whole night, but little bit less than the whole night. Otherwise, 1/2 or more or less. And Allah reveals this beginning of the surah, and